Daniela, and on this channel we do crafting with a cocktail, which means we craft and have a cocktail that I'll teach you how to make in just a little bit. I'm super excited because this week I am part of the Thrift Flip challenge. That is a new monthly challenge hosted by Savvy Crafts with Savannah and Robinson Repurposing. I will leave both their links and the playlist below, so please go check out all the awesome creatives who are flipping some of the things that they thrifted this week. What's special about this one too is everything has to be under 10 bucks that you purchased, so I've only got 2 DIYs for this video, but I think they both turned out like really modern and chic, so I hope you enjoyed them. Let's get into it. Cheers! Alright, this is our first thrift flip. It is this gorgeous mirror that I think has become super modern and yet a touch of classic or chic with that floral touch. I got this big, it's actually a pretty hefty, like heavy mirror from Goodwill for about $7. It already had that like gold inner framing to it. I'm not sure what it's called, but I am just taping it off because I want to paint the wooden part because I didn't really want that color. I just, for whatever reason, immediately envisioned it with like a nice black frame. So I'm just taking my time with my painter's tape and making sure that I get as close as possible to all of the edges. Because I don't want any of that spray paint or acrylic paint getting on the inside parts. So that's what I'm working on here. Then, to save some time and lots of tape, I'm just using an ad from the newspaper to cover up the rest of the mirror and tape that off nice and snug against the other border of the tape, so that way, again, we don't get any paint onto our mirror. Then I put my mirror onto a poster board or whatever, newspaper, drop cloth, whatever you have, and I start going in with just some regular acrylic black paint. I realized this was really streaky and did not have good coverage, so in a second here you'll see me spray paint instead, and that works much better. So if you're doing this, I would probably recommend saving little time and doing 2 coats of spray paint instead of 1 coat of acrylic and then a coat of spray paint. As I said, I took my project outside. Well, I guess I didn't say that part. But anyways, I took my project outside and then just gave it a nice coat of spray paint. This is, I think, Rust-Oleum in black in the satin finish. Then once it was completely dry, or at least almost, honestly, it was pretty tacky for a while, but I did leave it to dry for some time. I don't know. Anyways, I just go in with a paintbrush and plain black paint to cover any little areas that might have still had a little bit of wood grain in them, which was few and far between, but there were still a few, of course. Now it's time to reveal the underneath, which should be perfectly clean. I think I had like maybe 1 smudge. I don't know if I recorded myself cleaning it or not, but otherwise it turned out really nice, crispy clean with really good lines on it. And like I said, you want to make sure that you fix any sort of areas that need more black before you rip off the tape, just to make sure that it doesn't get anywhere else. And I really love that we went with black on this because I think it helps that gold really pop and makes it stand out a lot more. Then I start kind of playing with some greenery. This is, I want to say eucalyptus. And then I thought maybe I'll make like little jute rope. I'll make a little jute rose. But I don't know, it was just like clashing styles. So after a little bit of playing with it, I do end up deciding to use the eucalyptus after all. And I added an extra special element of using some of the dried greenery and florals that my boyfriend got for me for our 2-year anniversary. So that's what that baby's breath is from, as well as the rose. The baby's breath was a little bit tricky to work with just because it was really fragile. But other than that, I think it turned out really, really beautiful. All I'm doing is using my hot glue. I'm using Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks because I know they have a really good hold. One of my eucalyptus, I don't end up filling this because it was later on that I realized that one of them really didn't want to stick. I think it's because I glued it while the hot glue wasn't hot enough yet, because that sometimes happens. Because the other one was really stuck on there. But in case you want like to be super sure, you could use clear E6000 glue and then just a teeny tiny dab of hot glue to make it stick in the moment. This ended up working pretty well for me, except like I said, the first one I put down, I think that the glue wasn't hot enough yet, so I had to redo it a couple times. And then I just kind of put my little rows at an angle. I don't know, sometimes symmetry is just too much for me. So I kind of like that it's just leaning at an angle, and I glued that in place. I tried to glue it in the flattest side of the rows just so it wouldn't move too much, and then reinforced it wherever I could with some extra hot glue, pulled my little glue strings, and that's it. I think this turned out absolutely stunning. I can't wait to hang it up. I have to move the is it a claw tooth, sawtooth, I don't know, hanger on it because it's horizontal, but yeah, I love it. All right, guys, you know what time it is. Let's check out what we made for this week's cocktail. In the spirit of thrift flips, which is taking something old and making it new, we are making a classic into a new, delicious type of cocktail. So if you guys know what a screwdriver is, it is just vodka and orange juice, and we are making an updated version of that, so it's got a little bit of a twist on it. I am using my Space Jam shot glass, and I know it looks like I'm doing 2 shots, but I'm actually just doing about 1.5 shots of vodka, pouring it over some ice, and then instead of regular orange juice, I am using this Dole pineapple orange juice. I've also made these with mango orange juice. I'm not sure what brand, but oh my gosh, so good. Top it off with that, and then just to add a little bit of, I don't know, acidity or something to just kind of set it off, I added 2 lime wedges that I just happened to already have cut up from a meal we made the other day. So I throw those in there, and then I use my handy dandy chopstick to mix it up, and that's it. There is your 2021 updated screwdriver. Hey guys, just popping in one last time to say that if you like my videos, my personality, my drinks, or my DIYs, please subscribe down below so you can see more of it, and hit that thumbs up if you particularly like this video. Let's move on and see what's next in line, and don't forget to check out the playlist for the Thursday Thrift Flip Challenge. So this piece was actually because we have too many utensils for our old utensil jar in the kitchen, and I found this giant like glass jug thing at Goodwill for around $3, and so it was the perfect fit for this because it had a much wider mouth than the old one. So I just start by making an even line with some blue tape around the top. Then I am taking some more tape and putting a little piece, maybe like half an inch below that. I'm not sure. I'm not great at eyeballing measurements, but yeah, so I just leave a little area so that I would be able to have a strip that we are going to spray paint in a little bit. Then I'm covering the rest of the areas with some leftover newspaper like we did earlier, because we don't want anything that's not needed to be spray painted to get spray paint on it. Once all the other areas are covered up, I took it outside just like I did with the mirror, and I'm using some copper spray paint. This is from Krylon. It was paint and primer. They were out of Rust-Oleum brand. To be honest, this was actually pretty sheer, and I ended up having to do, I think, 3 coats in the end. This is one heavy coat. I also had to wait for it to dry twice and do 2 more. When it was completely dry, I brought it inside, took off all the tape to reveal its magic. Did I leave the bottom one, or do I put a new one? I'm pretty sure I leave the bottom one. So this is really cool. I ended up trying a technique that I've never tried before, and it's where people mix acrylic paint with baking soda to create a textured paint. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I wasn't sure how much baking soda to add, and my biggest fear was that it was going to lighten the color and make it gray, but it actually didn't. And to be honest, I think I added too much baking soda in the beginning because it was really hard to mix and really thick. But I've watched other people do this, and it does leave a little bit of texture, and I really kind of wanted mine to be really gritty, really textured, just to have a little bit of contrast with our smooth copper strip. So that's what I was going for here. Then I just use my chippy brush and I'm trying to make even strokes across my entire bottom half of my jar thing. And I end up doing 2 coats of this in the long run, but here you can see I'm just working on my first coat and just making my way around it while also being careful to not go over that blue tape so it doesn't go into the copper stripe. Then I decided to go in with my heat gun, which I will have linked down below in my description in case anyone's interested in it. I just have it on low and I'm working around it. To be honest, when I did this, I ended up going a little too fast. I need to learn patience with my heat gun, that's for sure. But anyways, I'm just trying to speed up the drying process. Here I am going in with my second coat. I only do 2 coats total of this, but it just wasn't opaque enough for me the first time, so I wanted to add more texture and thickness to my jar, so that's all I'm doing here. I did end up having to mix more for this, and I 100% recommend for it to completely dry, because I tried going in slightly too early and it was just somewhat dry, and it was taking paint off instead of adding it. So make sure it's completely dry before you do your second coat. Alright guys, we are in the final stretch, so I am just taking off that blue tape that we put on in the very beginning so that we can see the defined copper line and the defined line where the black textured paint is. Here I'm trying to kind of show you up close what that looks like so you can kind of see the texture. I know from far away it's a bit hard to see. And then, just to add some extra detail, I'm going in with some white paint and a Q-tip and just adding little polka dots in between where that little like clear negative space or opening is between the copper and the black. You could measure the spaces between if you want to, but if you've watched me before or if you know me personally, you know that I don't really care if things are exactly perfect. I kind of just like to eyeball it and see how it goes. So here I am just using my Q-tip and my white paint all the way around, just kind of eyeballing the distance between each polka dot. Here's how it turned out. I love how it looks and that it's going to hold so many more utensils in it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you stay and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!